Okay, so in the second one, again, we're working with the same green. So I'm going to squeeze out some of my saturated green, and I need a dollop of gray. So to make gray, I need some white. And I need, don't squeeze out that much, I accidentally squeezed out a bunch, but I've got lots of paint here. If you only have one set, be sparing with your white, because you're going to need it for painting later on, okay? So again, we're going to take a little bit of that black and mix it into our white in hopes to create a nice light gray color. Less black, more white. You'll get a nice medium light gray. Okay, so now we're not darkening the color, we're just dulling it down so it's not as happy and cheery. Okay, so now I'm going to take my clean brush, and again, I think what I can do with all of these is I could give them another coat just to make that green really pop. So again, I'm going to take my green just as it is, straight out of the tube unaltered, and I'm going to make sure that my first square is just full on. I'm just going to do another layer to make that green pop a bit more. Again, this is unaltered, straight out of the tube. Okay, so here what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of my gray and I'm going to introduce it into my green until I see a new color emerge. Okay, and then the next one, I'm going to add even more gray. And add even more gray. You can dab your brush off to get some of that paint off, and then you're going to add even more gray. Okay, and the last one might literally be just gray. Or like an off gray, kind of a greenish gray here. Okay, so again, it's a little bit shiny now, but you'll see the color is nicer when it dries. Okay, here you're showing me rather than lightening a color, you're just dulling it down a bit by the addition of gray, gradually desaturating it. So in the very last one, we're going to just carefully darken it, creating some shades. And basically, guys, what we're doing is that first color is fully saturated, and as you're changing the color, whether you're lightening it, dulling it down, or darkening it, you are desaturating it. So you desaturate a color by making it less and less of its original state. So this is 100% green, and then eventually you're adding another color into it. So you've got about 80% green, 70% green, 60, 50, eventually you've got like 2% green and a lot of another color. Okay, so saturated versus desaturated. And the last one here, we're gonna, again, squeeze out more of our original green. This time we're going to add black to it. And again, black is pretty quick to change another color. So you want to slowly add it in. Don't jump to adding a lot of black because you might get too dark too fast and then you're not going to have a nice range of values. We want to see how many different greens we can come up with by slowly introducing black. Okay, so we're going to take, again, our original green and we're going to add a little bit at a time. As soon as you see a change, test it out. Okay, and a little bit more. Those two look too similar, so I'm going to add a little bit more. Okay, and more. To add a little bit more black to my plate. And if you feel like you can't stretch it anymore, the last one can literally be black. Okay, and like I said, when these dry, you'll get a better feeling of the different shades. But as you can see, we have a saturated green and we're desaturating it by creating shades, gradually darkening it by adding black. Then we've got our tones by adding gray, and our tints lightening the color by adding white. Okay, so you're going to do the exact same thing. You're going to be creating 3 bars with 6 sections each. Choose one saturated color and alter it in 3 different ways. Make sure it's fully labeled before you photograph it and submit a picture of your work.